Welcome to the Excitable Gentleman, a podcast where we only have one mic at the moment because of a thief being a real bastard. And
They got me for my shoes, people. They got me for my kicks.
shoes, microphone, not headphones that you're wearing, thankfully, even though they're the best, arguably the best pound for pound value in your car outside of actual money.
Actually, these are my favorite headphones. Period. Like, so if these got stolen, I'd probably be like crying. But they
Gotta say, thanks. Big ups to delightful incompetence and bumbling idiots.
Like I said, they probably got me for about like maybe about $750 dollars worth of stuff. But at the same time, it could have been a lot worse.
They can't stop the podcast train.
They cannot. Which again, they were semi-polite. They took, like I was telling you off,
in real life.
Yeah, they left my knife bag in my trunk. They took out all my little pots and pans, set them up neatly in the trunk. Got the Walmart reusable bag, and I guess they made off with the shoes, but they left my $350 headphones, our recording equipment, except for an old Radio Shack mic that my dad gave me from like 1995.
Oh, wow.
And the other mic that we got.
That's a pre-podcasting era microphone.
Yeah, I don't get it, but hey, whatever.
It's a weird thing where, the optimism is could have been so much worse.
Yeah, but if you do see some red daybreak, editions, just let you know. Holler at me.
Yeah, just assume, if somebody's wearing them, just assume that's Denard's stolen shoes and just violently accuse them.
Yeah.
Verbally, not physically.
Yeah. Just holler at them,
Yeah, I'm sure that'll go very well.
Nothing threatening, just say Denard knows. That's all you got to do.
Yeah, and also, I mean, it's going to end well. And it also should be noted that we assume no liability on this podcast. And, good luck.
I'm just playing. Please don't do that.
Yeah, please don't.
Don't do that. Don't do
Please
that at
don't.
all.
Why are you winking? That's really weird.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're now hovering around the recorder that normally has two microphones going into it. A mere 10 minutes ago, as news was broken to me of the vandals,
Yeah.
I ordered a microphone, which will be here Wednesday.
So yeah.
And then we
we'll
won't
have
have
the
to
sweet tunes again.
we won't have to hover and speak in hushed tones. But in terms of hey, I'm Brandon.
Yeah, I'm Denard.
I mean, yeah, it's been a minute, and we don't really have specific things, so this is going to be a true free-flowing conversation.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, we can start off what we were going to say we were going to start off with.
Yeah.
But
I mean, we got the B&E out of the way, so.
Yeah.
Is it breaking and entering when it's a car?
I don't know.
I feel like it's house, specifically.
I don't know.
I before I even said that, I was like, is that... Because I feel like I only hear B&E specifically related to house. Because you're breaking and entering, so can you really enter a house?
That's what I've been thinking. I think B&E is just referred to a house. I don't know what you would call it for a car.
Yeah. Breaking and... It's B and... BD? B and... Breaking and being a dick?
Yeah, that's close enough.
Be bad.
You gotta laugh from crying.
Yeah.
But yeah, D23.
Yeah, I mean
Honestly, I didn't really watch much.
It came and went since last we casted, but they did all their shit with that. We're in currently as of this record. Tomorrow will be the last day for that big old deal that they have for.
It's still going?
It ends September 2nd.
Okay, I thought it was over with already.
No, so it's that deal where ostensibly you get a free year. You commit for 3.
Oh, you're talking
That's
about
what I'm talking about.
Oh, you're talking about
Disney Plus. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, I already talked to Taylor about it. I was like, I'm just gonna go ahead and do it because it comes with Hulu.
Yeah.
And
you get
Hulu,
you get ESPN Plus.
Yeah, ESPN Plus and Disney Plus.
Yes, and ESPN Plus isn't like all of the live stuff. You get that with ESPN if you have the subscription online or just for your cable subscriber.
Yeah, or
but
you pay for it.
They have cool doc series. You get 30 for 30, which I do like.
Yeah, you get a lot of the retro games and stuff like that you can go see.
Basically, not to too generalize or go broad strokes with it, but now that every fucking company and everything is like, nah, we're gonna do our own thing after we've been piggybacking off of getting licensing deals from Netflix. Now they're like, we're going to take all of our stuff, which is why Netflix over the years has been like, original content, because they knew they were losing this stuff.
Yeah, because they didn't have a chance.
Yes. And I tell you what, dude, they're in trouble. And I think they know this.
Well, like, and that's the thing, I'll be honest with you, I don't care for most Netflix original stuff. Like, I try to watch a lot of it, and
I've been banging that drum for a while, like, for real, about how I'm like, 90%, I think, of Netflix original stuff is shit.
Yeah, it's terrible.
It is truly just like volume.
But at the same time, I will say, though, that most Hulu original content that I've seen is kind of terrible also.
Oh, no, there's no winning.
Like, outside
Amazon, a fair amount of Amazon is pretty good relative to the batting averages of these other ones.
Yeah, like I will say, I haven't actually watched the whole thing, but the Amazing Miss Maisel or whatever, that was actually pretty decent from what I've seen with Taylor.
I still like Patriot quite a bit on Amazon. It ran 2 seasons. I think it's great. Catastrophe is very good.
Like I said,
Fleabag is great.
Amazon didn't work right for me, so I just never watch anything because I get tired of audio desyncing, so just like, fuck Amazon. But, you know what I thought was weird, though, was they had an original series that's getting picked up by Netflix. It was called Cavalry of the Iron Fortress that me and Taylor were watching. Mm-hmm. We never got a chance. Well, we never finished it, and I just thought it was going to be canceled.
Yeah.
And then the next thing I know, I look on the Netflix, up and coming, series and everything else, and I see Cavalry of the Iron Fortress season 2, and I'm like, well, what the fuck happened?
This is okay. By the way, this is also reinstilling another thing. And by the way, like, I don't want to be like, I told everyone this. I knew before everyone. That's not what I'm saying. And probably none of what I'm saying about, like, I've been saying this is like anything that's revelatory, but it is like that weird, like, kind of validation of, like, I fucking knew it. And it's that the picking up one streamer, in this case, picking up another streamer's content, or is the same difference as, like, NBC picking up something from Fox.
Yeah.
The streaming thing is truly
more
and more just being cable.
Yeah, it's cable.
And just being network TV. Because they still get money off that because, like, hey, we can make a significant amount just by being a production company behind this.
And just throwing it out there. Like, no, you can have the show.
Yeah, I mean, there have been so many shows that have not been picked up by the network that made them in pilot season, then were picked up by NBC, and they still get producing fees.
Yeah. As
a production company behind it. So that is, that whole... whatever the case may be, but in this case, Amazon being picked up by Netflix was such an inevitability.
But I do like the fact that, like, at least you get better choices with this than you did with cable, because at least now, like I said, I'm gonna end up just canceling my Hulu Plus subscription that comes with, like, because we don't pay for the commercials. Well, I barely watch Hulu anymore.
Sure.
For $12.99, you get Disney Plus, ESPN Plus, and Hulu. And I'm already paying $11.99 for just Hulu Plus alone. It's like, well, fuck it.
And not just that, by the way.
Commercials.
Not to be underestimated, but at the very least, all R-rated Fox movies are going to Hulu for streaming. Will be.
Well, then, boom.
I know that's what I mean. Like, all that stuff that wouldn't be like Disney friendly for Disney Plus, all of that Fox stuff is going to Hulu.
Let's see.
Then to me, that's perfect.
Yeah.
Because my problem with Hulu is that it was always a lesser than streaming platform because they never have a lot.
Yeah. The best thing they had, if you were like a movie fan, was they always had the Criterion collection.
Which they don't anymore because of the Criterion channel.
Yeah. So
but they still do. And the funny thing is too that, like, their new, quote unquote, like, new to stream documentaries and stuff, they get almost one for one the same shit as Amazon.
Yeah.
At the same time, like, they get the same releases.
But
so in that regard, it's not a great selling point.
But it's just that I think most people don't go to Hulu for those things. Like,
it does network stuff which people watch, and I get that. I don't know. It's kind of like got a lot of little pieces of a lot of little things, and it doesn't add up to a lot. But the fact that, and they know this, it's being packaged with everything else is very appealing.
Yeah, but the one thing is, though, I will say that the Disney Plus original content at least looks like it's going to be entertaining, because, like, The Mandalorian looks like everything that I wanted. Star Wars, what was the one that we saw with Forrest Whitaker?
Rogue One.
It looks like everything I wanted Rogue One to be.
It definitely showed everything that the first Rogue One trailer sold you on.
And see,
with, like, the juxtaposition of, like, the what do they call those? Not Death Stars, but the Imperial ships or something.
I have no idea, dude. I would say I'm not really that.
This is really killing my credibility.
Star Destroyer.
Yeah,
I think
we'll go with that. But it showed the point was, it showed them juxtaposed against like, a butte or whatever in this very Arizona-esque climate that was very westerny. And when I saw that shot specifically in the trailer, I was like, fuck yes. In Rogue One. Because a part of me is just like, that is a cool juxtaposition. That's a cool aesthetic. Very kind of like Monument Valley-esque. And although it didn't live up to that, and I still loved it, but it wasn't like that aesthetic that much. This Mandalorian trailer, I was like, fuck yes.
And see, like...
It got me pretty excited, and I don't really care, generally.
And see, like I said, I'm like you. I don't really care about Star Wars. Like I said, I was always a Trekkie kid, and even then, there's stuff about Star Trek I give a fuck less about. So, but I watched the first trailer. I was like, okay, that's cool. I watched half the second trailer. I was like, oh, all right, that's enough. And I was like, okay, yeah, I'm good. Now, I don't know whether or not, that's the one thing, though, that Disney's already hooked me with. Oh, just pay us this much, and you get it for that for the next 3 years. You don't have to worry about it. And that already has me hooked, whereas, like, okay, so, like, the DC thing, I'm just now looking at possibly getting it because they just finished up, like, all of Young Justice, all the Swamp Things up there. So I'm just going to get it, run through all the shows I want in that month, and then be done with it because they don't really make any original content I want to see necessarily outside of, like, 2 shows. So it's like, I'm not going to pay that for a fucking year. Whereas Disney Plus, I'm getting everything.
Yeah, I did the DC thing for the free trial, just to, like, dip my toe in. Doom Patrol, I thought was fun.
I forgot about that. I do want to see Doom Patrol.
I do still want to actually watch Swamp Thing just to, like, get an idea of it. And from what I understand, like, at a certain point in the middle or maybe in the early episodes, it goes from, like, cool to, like, clearly, like, creative control was being grappled at by a lot of different parties. And then you can feel the change. Damn. But I kind of want to just see it just to see it. But otherwise, though, it's not great. And it feels kind of ghost towny in a weird way. But the reason I'm strongly considering taking advantage of that Disney deal, specifically, is because we all know, I would say within the first 12 to 18 months, they're going to jack that price up because they want to get people in. They want to get numbers that are big early on to scare Netflix, and also to do, like, the bandwagoning of, guess what, look, everybody likes this. Don't you like it? You want to be on this? So people get on. They're going to jack the price up at least once in the 3-year span where we will have a locked-in price.
Well, yeah, well, I mean, that's the thing. They already know that's how it's going to be way easier to just go ahead and get the masses. Like I said, that's how they're going to get me because it's, well, I know exactly what I'm going to be getting. I know the value that it's going to cost me. And it's like, even if I did just pay the $7.99 a month, it's like, it's still cheaper. I still get a lot more than what I'm paying for anything else. So it's like, I don't really care. I spend so much money on subscriptions anyway. This is the cheapest thing, and I get the most for it. So it's like, all right, whoop-de-fucking-do.
And also, psychologically, I could appreciate it because after, like, a year, I'll just feel like I'm playing with house money.
Yeah.
And about 2 more years.
Now, I will say the one streaming platform that is highly slept on is Stars. Stars has, like, a lot of good shit on there.
They got some good stuff.
They have, like, a lot of, like, old... They have, like, a lot of old movies that, classics. But then I didn't know they got a bunch of fucking anime movies that just came out. Like the Dragon Ball Z movie that came out a month or so ago is streaming on there. I just saw that yesterday.
I think they got that old 2001 Final Fantasy movie as well.
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one that single-handedly was the first movie produced by that video game production company, and then it also killed it at the same time.
Yeah. It
was Konami? Is that right? No. Hold on. Doesn't matter.
It was the CGI was way ahead of its time.
It was badass.
The story was just terrible. But it was based on JRPG shit, so it's gonna be bad. But
I like that sequel too.
Excuse me. There was a sequel?
There was, yeah. Pretty sure. Spirit Within, 2001.
Oh no. I'm thinking of that was the one I was thinking of, but Advent Children was the one that was based on Final Fantasy VII.
That's the one. That's the sequel I was thinking of.
Oh, okay, yeah, no.
Meaning just came out after.
Okay, yeah, that one was based on Final Fantasy VII. That was the sequel to the video game.
Yeah, okay, and that was cool as hell. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, there was a lot of people didn't care for it, but I thought that shit was amazing.
I really dug it.
But which I think it's actually by Sony. So I wonder if that's going to be
That's what.
on one of their random platforms. But either way, Stars has like a bunch of random shit on there. They have a bunch of old TV series also. So like
I saw that.
they had like a for some reason they have a ton of westerns like Gunsmoke and Bonanza and shit that I could give a fuck less about, but my dad loves them. So I think I might give him my code so he can like actually sit down and watch it. But
Well, if you look at the website too, like even if you're just going through the website, it's just like, oh, interesting. It's like, okay, and it just gets like,
well, like
it just creeps up on you of like random, like OK Corral type shit, like random.
well,
stuff.
like if you want to have like a good nostalgia trip, they
Yes.
got He-Man, She-Ra, G.I. Joe, Transformers. I'm just sitting here like, oh, all right. They had fucking Silverhawks at
Yeah.
one point, and I was like, don't nobody know what the fuck Silverhawks is.
I do think it was one of those things where they were just like scouring what kind of like IP wasn't being licensed
Yeah,
for streaming, and they were like, well, shit, we can just get a grip of old cartoons, and then why
Yeah.
not? It's pennies on the dollar, probably.
yeah, because we just got it just to watch American Gods, and we've kept it since then because it's just like, all right, well, there's a new series, there's a new movie, there's something else we hadn't seen.
And they premiere some decent movies, you know, that like HBO doesn't get in Cinemax.
Yeah,
That's pretty good stuff. What do you? I think we probably talked about it. You watched both seasons of American Gods?
yes.
I only went through the first season because it just was such a disappointment.
Oh, I loved it.
I love the book. I just, meh.
I really got into it. I
It
loved
felt
it.
like a mess to me.
Yeah, especially what's his name, Ian McShane.
Oh well, he's
Yeah.
always great. I love him.
Is this
And that
Wednesday?
was perfect casting.
Yeah, he is
As Mr. Wednesday.
hilarious. But
He was great. I was a big fan of him.
but no, was it I love the second season because who's Mr. Nancy? Damn it,
No.
Orlando Jones.
Oh yeah, he was
Yeah.
good in his
He-
limited appearance in the first season.
He had
He gave a great.
that opening monologue.
That was an amazing monologue.
That's actually what got me where I wanted to actually watch American Gods. So I saw that and I was like, oh, we're doing that now because I remember they actually had like writers of color
Yes.
on there. I was like, oh, okay, I can see that.
That was like the fourth episode, I think, because I remember watching that, and it was that reaction of like, that was what a hell of a performance, but also I'm like, I didn't know Orlando Jones could do that.
It's like a lot of people don't. I've seen him do that in a lot of stuff before. It's always been low key, like something low budget or something on TV where like nobody's
Okay.
ever seen it before.
So it's just a lack of a platform.
Yeah,
Okay.
but like, dude was fucking hilarious, and he still has my favorite line where he just Shadow comes down the hallway and was like, "Fuck you, Shadow." Pussy. And but he says it with a lisp, and it's just he is the best character on that whole fucking show. But I love
Now-
it. Like I said, it's
now I'm
great for me.
intrigued. You know what? This is. It reminds me of just thinking about, streaming TV shows on major cable networks.
Mm.
And right now, there's a show called Becoming a God in Central Florida. It's on Showtime.
Mhm.
It's 2 episodes in. It stars Kirsten Dunst. It takes place in 1980s Florida, and it's her husband gets her family involved in what is very clearly, although he doesn't know, very clearly a pyramid scheme.
Mhm.
And things happen, and then now she's getting to the pyramid scheme to make money, and it's dark. It's very funny. She's amazing in it. It's really good. Like I love it. It's a very difficult, very like tightrope of a tone, but they're doing a hell of a job, and it's quirky and weird and great. Like it's really good.
And what was it called?
Becoming a God in Central Florida. It's on Showtime. Airs every Sunday, I think.
Okay.
And we're 2 in so far.
Right.
It's pretty great. And then Succession is going on right now on HBO. We're 4 episodes in, and it's amazing. It's probably my favorite TV show on TV at the moment.
I still got to sit down and watch it. For some reason, I just couldn't get into it. Like I started watching like the first 20 minutes, so I was just like, I'll watch this another.
Well,
day.
it's rich people whining,
Yeah.
and I get that. But I feel like once it kicks in, I know it's hard. It's easy to say this, but 3 episodes in, when it kicks in, because they're clearly figuring out what combos work character-wise, and then they seem to realize, oh, it works better when everybody's in the same room together, or a majority of people, because that's when everybody's cooking, and that's when you get in the characterization. And I understand the thought process of like, oh, rich people bitching and moaning and in their some quite literally like ivory towers, and it's hard to relate to that. But I feel like how good it is and the momentum it creates will override that thought.
And see, that's the thing. It's like I'll try to see if I can get to at least episode 4 because it's one of those things where I can be as long as it can entertain me, even if I can't relate to it. Like that's why I said before, I don't understand the appeal of Friends because I can't relate to it in any way. But it's not even then. It's still not funny. Like for me, it's like Seinfeld. It's funny.
Yeah.
Granted, it's not the genius show that I think everybody claims it is. But
it's become quite mythologized over the years, I think.
But it is
great.
funny. Like it's something that it transcends like, age. Well, age for the most part, outside of like kids.
It is it's justifiably considered, in my opinion, a classic.
But it's like
it's classic television.
It can transcend, cultures and race because everybody has that friend that's kind of like a Kramer, that a homeboy that doesn't come by, like he doesn't call before he comes over, he just pops in and shit. It's like, there's the relatable stuff in it for everybody, but at the same time, it's just an entertaining show.
Yeah.
Friends for me is like, it's just not funny. So
I remember I watched it when it was airing, and I thought it was hilarious.
But like I said, it's just,
I've not watched it since, so I don't know.
But that's the thing. It's just like it just doesn't appeal to me.
Sure.
Like it's just not entertaining to me.
Yeah.
But Succession can actually get to an entertaining point. Like I said, I can't relate to it because I'm not rich.
Yeah.
But if at least it could be entertaining, like, oh, these rich white dudes rich white people are just fucking crazy and shit's about to go like crazy for everybody. Then I'll be like, all right, and I'm down for it.
Yeah.
But if it takes it that long to get there, I'm probably gonna be like, oh.
I'm telling you, it is so good though, and so well made to the point of I do think it's the best show on TV. That it's worth it. This is not like you put in 17 hours to get 13 pretty good hours, like meaning it gets better but it's still not great. This is a high percentage writing, directing, act. It's amazing.
Okay.
I 100% would recommend it. I truly think it's worth it. And for the record, I bought that microphone with a gift card to Amazon, so I cannot relate to the richness by any stretch. It's not like I'm like, oh, you should join us up here in our ivory tower where I'm fucking loaded. No.
Yeah.
But it is so good. Also on HBO is 3 episodes in now, I think, as well. 3 episodes in is Righteous Gemstones.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah, I say my friend Dennis was telling me about that.
Yeah, I love it. It's like one of those things where if you like what Danny McBride makes, with Eastbound and Down and Vice Principals and now this, you'll absolutely like this. There's no question about that. And he wrote every episode, but it's really interesting. It's about the Joel Austins of the world running a family church.
About a televangelist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they are rich and very and like quirky and like John Goodman's wife some years ago passed away, and she was kind of like the counterbalance for the family, kept everybody in line. So you have these 3 shithead kids and John Goodman, who's like constantly mourning that her loss. He kind of like feels rudderless, and they're just dickheads. And so that plays off. It kind of has like a Coen Brothers vibe to it at times, but it's really interesting and it's really well done. I really like it.
Yeah. The only show I've actually watched on HBO so far has been Euphoria, and
that show's amazing.
I thought that's probably going to be the best show I've seen probably this year.
Yeah.
That all the performances where everybody, and I was saying for me, everybody kept saying like, well, some of the kids' acting was terrible, but for me, I was like, everybody actually did a good job. Like they acted like kids would act in like high school. Like
I'll be honest. I mean, I watched every episode. Not exaggerate. There wasn't a false note. For me, performance-wise at all.
Yeah.
I thought everybody was great.
And that was like it. So, I guess one of the main antagonists / victims, or just characters, Nate. HBO has a thing where they always seem to have a character that you hate. Like, everybody has, their baggage and their backstory. I hate that motherfucker. And I'm glad they actually gave me a villain where it was like, oh, yeah, you understand. There's reasons why he acts like he does. but he's still an asshole. He's a terrible human being. Like,
Well,
there's no real excuse for you doing these things.
100%.
And it's like,
they did balance him out without doing it the thing where we have to do this to redeem him entirely.
well, that was it. There was no real
Yes.
balance. It was just, oh no, this is what happened to him. It's like, but that's still no fucking excuse for the way that he acts. It's like, yeah, he's seen some things, he's known some stuff, but he wasn't raped. You know, he wasn't like sexually molested.
Well, it's like he's a piece of shit, but I see how he got there.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, I understand there were some things that happened, but it's like, you really got some real fucking issues, and you don't care. And it's like, and I can tell you're just gonna keep doing the things you do, no matter what. So it's like, I hate that motherfucker.
Yeah.
But I love that I hate that motherfucker.
Well,
Because
yeah,
there's not that
well,
many shows where it's
yeah.
like, okay, I understand the sympathy, but he's still a piece of shit, and I like, and
Yes.
and he's gonna be a piece of shit. Like I love that. Now he might get redeemed like season 2 or 3, but
I don't think
so.
I don't think so. I don't think that was ever the plan, and I like that. And to your point, like it is interesting, like to watch of oh, his father is his own form of monster, and he fucked him up. But then it without even blinking, it goes back to oh, he has the same thought process as his father, and he does the same shit, and they don't try to balance that out.
Well, that's the thing. It's kind of it kind of is and it kind of isn't, because like I'll tell you, it's the episode. I think it's episode 5 or 6. It's the carnival.
Yes.
And it's where essentially all the players in the show come into play, and you know, they all hit the stage and all of them interact in some way. And
there's a lot of culminating moments too.
Yeah, but it was a scene where I kept getting this feeling of dread, because it was a scene where Nate's dad was going to go essentially confront Jules. And I was thinking that whole time, like, you know, he was talking about he's going to do anything to protect his family when he gave the speech to McKay. And he's like, you know, you got to be a man. You got to stand up and do this and do that. And, you know, I didn't get to where I was because of, you know, standing down. I stood up for everything. I fought for whatever I wanted. I took care of it because I'm a, you know, man, I'm macho. Well, in my head, I'm just thinking like, oh shit, he's going to like fucking get rid of her. Like, that's what I kept thinking the whole time. But then he's just like, hey, listen, I understand, you know, what I did wasn't a good thing, but, you know, I really don't want my family to destroy. It's like, I have my issues, but, you know, I'm just asking you, please. And, you know, it's just like, oh, he really is like, this is how he got to where he was. And I understand he's trying to impart his wisdom. He's going about it the wrong way, but he's trying to be a dad. He's just trying to like, look, you don't have to be that way. Like, stand up for yourself, be a man. I understand the whole thing, but like, he's still that old, antiquated, I'm a macho dude, this is how things have to be done. So it's like, I get the way he is, but then when you see that point, it's like, oh damn, he really does care about his family. It's just, he's not strong enough to come out and like, hey, this is how I am, because it's not going to be accepted. And Nate's kind of the same way, where it's like, I'm not going to be accepted, but he doesn't see a human in that. He's just like, oh, I'm how I am, and everybody else is a plaything, where his dad's like, I understand what can happen to me and what can happen to you, and I don't want to see that happen
well,
for
exactly.
me.
It's kind of like that very kind of like in life, but in TV shows too, that classic dad trope of like, look, we don't have to say what this means. I'm the way I am, but that doesn't mean you have to be that way.
Yeah.
You know, and by the way, like, we all can relate to that on some level of the do as I say, not as I do.
Yeah.
You know, especially with a mother or father. You know, about like, I mean, well, you know how they are, and that's how they are. And
well, at some point in time, like, it's always the thing where the son or the daughter kind of tries to parent. It's like, you want to check your place. Yeah. And it's like, it happens all the time. It's just that a lot of times the love and respect that kid has for their parent at least reins that in a little bit. Where you're always going to try them, but it's never going to be the point where like Nate was, where he's all up in his face and like really about to try to fight his fucking dad. Yeah, exactly. Compared to like where I'm just like, all right, dad said go sit the fuck down. It's like, all right, I'll go sit the fuck down. I'm sorry. Like, my bad. I know my place. Yeah. But
well, that's just like too that like they say like a parent always sees their child as as a child. Yeah. You know, but the same thing reverse. Yeah. Regardless of it, if they themselves are 60 and their parent is 90, you're still going to see them as, oh, that's my father, my mother, the adult.
But see, that's the thing. I don't think, and I'm the way that they wrote his character. Nate doesn't see that because he's never had that before. Because he's always had, because everything's always gone his way, and he gets everything that he wants. So he's never had a dad. He's had his father around, but he's never had a dad that actually like put him in check and was like, "Look, this is how you're supposed to act because I am the father, you're the son. Like, respect is to be like you give me the respect because I am your father. It's like you listen."
And on top of that, though, he's got the role of he has a brother, but he's the one who has it together. His brother is the black sheep who's the fuck up.
Yeah.
But he's the one who's like the responsible child.
Yeah. So
the one who leads on the legacy, you know, of what his father is quote unquote built.
Yeah. So it's like it was just so nice to actually have like characters where I was like, okay, I can relate to pretty much all these characters and a little bit in each way, but it's like, but there's certain ones where like Fez.
Yeah.
Number one, every time I saw Fez, I had a little tear in my eye because he looked and sounded so much like fucking Mac Miller, and it just made me upset.
I know what you mean, but the weird part is like I saw that, and I of course immediately thought that, but then I also was like, he's also a solid dude.
Yeah.
And so I enjoy. So it's like this weird surrogate too.
Because that was the best scene.
Yes.
Was when Zendaya went back to Fez to try to go get some drugs.
That was
and
an
she was
amazing
trying to
scene.
relapse, and like. I was so fucking hurt, and I was just, and the whole time I'm like, please, Fez, don't open that fucking door.
I know.
Please don't open that goddamn door.
It was weirdly harrowing for a scene that was a girl relapsing, trying to relapse, screaming and doing the classic, do whatever I have to make you feel bad, hurts you because you're hurting me right now, and it was really dramatic in a very beautiful, weirdly beautiful way, I would say.
And I like the fact, like, you know, certain key characters got their own like vignettes. You know, openings and everything else. But like he didn't. But you got a lot of his story just from if you just paid attention to some of what was going on. Because I was like, when it started out, I was just like, how the fuck do all these kids know this drug dealer?
Yeah.
Who I'm guessing is his little brother with these fucking prison tats and shit.
I don't know if I hope it's his brother or not. Like, I don't know, but I wouldn't fuck with him out of everybody in that show.
No, but it's fucking hilarious. I love that kid.
I know it's great, and also, I mean, he has a moment.
Yeah.
Or two in that last episode of the season.
But it's like, he didn't, when you're going through, you get his story where it's just like, in that same scene, you're the one that started selling to me. You're the one that said it was okay. Yeah, you're the one that gave it to me.
Everybody else gets these big chunks, and he gets pieces that add up. Yeah. In the end.
And that's where I was like, I can't wait to see where his story goes, because he's my favorite character.
He's great.
Like, I love dude.
One thing we haven't even talked about, too, is how... really effectively and beautifully stylistic it is. Yeah. And the cinematography is incredible. The lighting, it's fantastic.
Pretty much every drug sequence is amazing. And I will say the way that they shoot during the essentially her manic moments where she's going into detective mode and they're just like extremely fast cutaways.
Loved it.
But they're doing it just like the 50s noir
well, that
stories.
Kind of like that neo detective talk, like Brick.
Yeah, and it's just like, yeah, you understand, baby doll. It's like, exactly. This is going on.
But and the other thing is too that a lesser made show, it would feel so affected, and like too much and like oh god, like overly stylistic. But it fit tonally so well with the show. Yeah. And it was like still funny, but also tragic. Yeah. You know what's happening. Yeah. And Zendaya, by the way, is fucking incredible in this show. Like, she's a star. She is so good.
Like, it was a long time ago. I kept telling people, like, just because she's on Disney Channel don't mean shit. It's like, she's actually one of the few that's going to leave Disney and make some money. Because there's not many of them that, like, really were in the Disney Channel original movies and they actually got somewhere. Like, usually they stay with Disney Channel.
Yeah, at a certain point, it did feel at times like they needed bodies. Yeah. But she is like, oh, she got there. She's a star.
Yeah, because that's pretty much everybody's like claim for like a while. Every like star that was around the age of like 18 to like 22 were all coming from like Disney Channel. Yeah. It was, I can never remember the girl that's from The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, but she had some show on Fox with like Seth Rogen that was about like his dad and.
Oh, is that Amanda or something?
No. She's Asian. I can't remember her name. Because the only reason I remember because on the commercial for the show, like she came out in essentially like the stereotypical Asian like schoolgirl outfit, and I can't remember what it was for the show, but they made a joke about it. I was like,
"Is she the?"
And I was like, "That's a weird joke." She was the rich girl that was on The Sweet Life. I can't remember her name because I've only seen.
Is this not the actress that was in Social Network?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and like,
I
and
know
I
what
was
you're
like,
talking about.
and I was just like, this is a big jump from.
You know who she's dating?
Nah.
Macaulay Culkin.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's weird. That did look like Willem Dafoe in the Green Goblin makeup.
He's balanced out a little bit more now.
Has he? I hadn't seen him in a
He
minute.
looks healthier.
Okay, that's good.
It looked pretty stark.
Is he moisturizing at least? Like
what?
It says he moisturizing a little bit at least. Like
yeah, I mean, the aging is. He might fall off a fucking cliff, like looks wise, for all we know. But at the moment, he looks way healthier than he did for years.
Well, that's good.
And I can say this because my looks are perfect. But you know, it reminded me that as of last Friday or the Friday before, YouTube, all their premium stuff you can now watch without having to have. So you have to have commercials, I think, but meaning all the Cobra Kai stuff you can watch for free.
The funny thing is,
you already
I
watched
still
it?
haven't watched any of it.
Okay,
Well,
I didn't know. Well, it's all free.
I forgot all about it.
Yeah, it's all free now.
I'm paying for YouTube Red anyway. It doesn't matter.
Are you?
Yeah.
Why?
Because I am one of the few people
Clearly,
that
they
I
don't
believe
want you to pay for it if they're giving you free shit. Now.
They don't, but YouTube Red is one of the best ways to get the creators that you support paid. Because even though you don't watch videos, then it's like $10 a month. It still pays them money, and it gives them a better payout than it does than just a regular subscription. So
I didn't think about it like that. So does that question then? So does that mean your views count for more?
Essentially, yeah.
Okay.
Like, well, and not necessarily like the views count for more, but like.
Well, I mean, did they quantify it as a premium viewer is watching this more than just a free viewer?
It's essentially like it doesn't matter whether or not I finish watching the episode,
yes.
like finish watching it or I watch the whole thing. It's he clicked on it. He's a premium user, so you're getting paid just because he clicked on it.
Okay.
Whereas if you did it and you skipped the ad and you didn't do this and you didn't finish the whole video, then it didn't count as a whole view. So he might not get paid for that view.
And fair enough. And I don't like how you use me as a if you did it.
Well, I'm sorry.
I know,
but you know,
go
I
fuck
mean,
yourself.
facetiously.
But, yeah, no. That and you know, I never. First, A, I never knew that, but B, I never thought about it. That would hold that prioritization outside of I just saw it as a black and white. You now have access to things you didn't previously have access to.
Yeah, and see, like, I hate to say it like that, but I have to think on like kind of where we're at. Where like I said, I just paid $14.99 for us to have a host platform,
Sure.
and that's it. And it's not a big deal because we're just small time.
Yeah,
we're not trying to make a living off this.
But
for
that
people
makes a lot of sense.
Like, you know, they're like the whole YouTube apocalypse. That was a whole big deal.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that was the reason why I even stick with YouTube Red, because it was like, I understand now because you're not getting that ad revenue because they're pulling all the ads. So at least this way, well, I can't get the ad revenue, but every month YouTube's going to make sure I get a check because those premium, views of people that are going to watch my video anyway.
Well, look,
it's kind of like supporting. It's kind of like if you go, well, instead of bootlegging a movie, like I told people. So not gonna name no names, but homeboy of ours, Shaft. The last one came out, and I forgot all about it. I actually, if it's still in theaters, I'm gonna try to go see it.
It's been gone for many moons.
Well, then I'm gonna just go ahead and rent it.
I know, I'm gonna rent it too.
But I was saying that I'm gonna just rent it. First thing is like, man, I already got it. Illegally is like, I already got it downloaded. It's like, well, man, I'll get it from you after I've rented it because I want to make sure at least they got their money.
And no, I'm the same way. And I know that perhaps this was not always the case, but I'm legit now.
Yeah.
And also, by the way, I will say that I like the anticipation of waiting for stuff.
Yeah.
Now I enjoy that quite a bit. But to your point, giving creators money, supporting content creators, which is something I strongly believe in. Whether to your point with the YouTube Red, which is a great. I never thought about that, and it makes a lot of sense. But even, like what is it? Voting with your dollar.
Yeah. Like that's the thing where I said before, where I don't believe in cancel culture. I believe in I don't fuck with you culture. Whereas, like I said, if you want to support, like, just best example, R. Kelly. I hate to say it, but there's a lot of old black people that are still going to bump R. Kelly. They're going to go buy, if R. Kelly got out and stopped in Little Rock tomorrow and was like, hey, y'all, I'm going to be selling tickets at Verizon, $20. He is going to sell the fuck out. And it's not going to be a goddamn thing we're going to do about it. And here's the thing. That's fine. He can sell out. But I'm not going to give him any fucking money for it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to give him any streams. And I've told people before, even if you do want to, I was like, this is where the one advantage. I say, go ahead and download it illegally. Because I said it before, I don't fuck with Kanye no more. But god damn it, I will still go listen to that Pusha T. And I will go and bump it because I'm paying Pusha T, but anything from Kanye, I deleted and downloaded illegally so I could just listen to it my goddamn self if I felt like it.
That's an underrated power move, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And
it's like you don't have to give them any dollars.
That Pusha T album is so good.
It is.
Daytona is such
now
a
I will
good
say
album.
the one song that I thought was weak was still Infrared, and it was because Kanye was on it. Kanye held it. He's the one that like literally anchored it. Well, weighed it down. He was the album.
Well, as a fan of his music, I would say, which clearly you are on some level because you are still fucking with it.
First 3 albums.
And fair play, but it did relative to every other track. That one felt jarring. It was like in a way of like you're doing something while listening to the album, and you're listening, but you're kind of like on autopilot too. And then that comes up, and you're like, wait, what? You know, it kind of does take you out of it.
Yeah, like. And I was okay with it because it was a little jarring, but I was like, okay, it's Pusha, it's whatever. But then as soon as Kanye started getting on it, I was just like, damn, it just started like losing steam. I was like, man, and so like literally, I have Daytona downloaded. That's the one track I don't listen to.
I know what you mean. It is a great album.
But like I said, it's one of those things where you don't have to. You can support who you want to support, but that's the thing. If the people from Little Rock might sell a show in Little Rock. But if he goes to fucking New York City and there's a ton of people, he's not going to have the same fucking love he does in the South that he has up north. Yeah. So if he goes to fucking Ohio, he goes to fucking, Seattle, he's not going to sell out a fucking show. He's still going to be fucking poor because he still has a lot of fucking shit to pay. It's like, you don't have to support it with your dollars. You can still bump whatever you want to. Yeah. It's like, there's ways around it. So it's like, you don't have to cancel. You just don't fuck with them.
Well, I mean, it's that thing where like, cancel culture is a whole other thing.
Yeah.
This is completely unrelated because I was just glancing at this list of every movie I've seen, but you know what movie I like fucking loved?
Nope.
That again because I'm gone legit. I just hadn't watched it and I finally did, and I watched it twice. And part of it was that I rented it on iTunes, so it was more of a I got it for another 16 hours. I'll watch it again. Was Alita: Battle Angel.
Really?
I loved it.
Okay. Now, the fact that you said that you loved it, I forgot about it in the theater.
Yeah, I didn't see it in the theater either. But for whatever, it got great reviews. It just didn't appeal to me. But on Twitter, like people fuck with that movie a lot.
Like I told you, this was one of the movies I was most excited about this year because I told you before. James Cameron put his stamp on this movie. James Cameron don't do shit unless he actually gives a fuck about it.
100%.
And that's the thing. If he said he was going to be doing Battle Angel Alita. And I haven't actually finished the whole thing. It spans like for years.
And again, that's been his passion project for 20 years at least.
Yeah.
To where is that thing where I'm just waiting for the technology to catch up. And Robert Rodriguez took over. And I'm not the biggest Rodriguez fan.
Now see, that was the thing.
This is very like, this feels like that Cameron was like, let me take a few of your bad habits out of here and give you a little direction as a producer.
And see, that was the thing when you was kind of like, I don't know about that. I was like, oh shit, and the only reason why was just because I know Robert Rodriguez mostly for Spy Kids. I've seen most of Spy Kids movies. Like they came on cable. I haven't seen. I think like the very last.
I saw the 3D.
I haven't seen the newest ones that came out.
I don't know that. Maybe I haven't either. I saw the 3D one in the theater.
Is that the one with Sylvester Stallone in
it? Yeah. As the TikTok man or whatever?
Yeah, I think so.
Mr. TikTok? Or...
I can't remember. They all came on like Cartoon Network. So whenever I got like sick or some shit, I just leave it on there.
Cartoon Network seems like a very appropriate place for those movies.
But either way, like the way that like all the gadgets and stuff would work and like the movements and everything else.
And the machinations of it? Yeah, I know what
like
you mean.
in my head, as soon as I was like, okay, he's going to be doing Battle Angel 2, it's like, well, that's the kind of stuff that it should look like. Like it's supposed to be in your face, like kind of crazy, something looks like it's stiff and then all of a sudden it just turns into like a snake and weaves like 100 feet around you. It's like, that's how it's supposed to look.
Oh, and it's great in the movie. But to your point, this feels like, it feels like it's almost like, what if Robert Rodriguez made a more, instead of a B movie, made I know this isn't a term, but an A movie with a giant budget and full studio support versus his Austin DIY owned studio stuff. And it's the CGI is fantastic. It looks great.
Like I said, and
I love it. I legitimately love that movie.
After the first two commercials,
yes.
Well, first two trailers, I was already excited about it. And this was one of the ones, like I said, I don't believe in trying to adapt anime into live action for the most part because it's a lot of shit you just can't do. Like even the Japanese movies that come out, they're terrible.
I don't know. I thought Ghost in the Shell was great.
Yeah.
I never did. By the way, I watched 15 minutes of that, and I'm like, what am I doing? This doesn't. It was such a, from what even the limited amount I saw, what a lifeless movie.
Like it looked like it was gonna be pretty. Because
it was visually interesting.
Witta did all the like prosthetics and all the like costuming and everything else. So I was looking forward to that. Like the geisha scene. That's the one thing I wanted to see.
And that's in the first 10 minutes, I think.
Yeah.
Like, and it's visually very, very interesting. But I almost think, honestly, I would find it way more appealing if I just watched it on mute. Not kidding, just for the visuals. Not for any of the completely uninteresting, to me, studio stuff or storyline stuff. And I've seen the anime and I loved it.
Yeah, I was like, but the anime's far superior. But anyway, man, we got on a random tangent.
Sorry, Battle Angel Leader, though, I fucking loved it. It looked great. Ignorance is bliss. I didn't know anything about the storyline outside of the very, very basic stuff. I don't know anything. Is it manga or manga? My problem is that makes me feel like I'm stupid, but it's some words I only read and then I don't know the pronunciation. So in my head I have one, but it doesn't mean it's right.
Honestly, you
manga?
can say it either way.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
manga.
I believe the right pronunciation is supposed to be manga.
Manga? Okay.
But you can say it either way because most people don't really give a fuck.
That's fine. But anyway, I don't know anything about I don't know anything about the manga. Never read it. I don't know that I've read a manga period, admittedly. But so I was truly like a clean slate, and I had, with time and just kind of not low expectations, but I didn't have one.
But you weren't really expecting anything.
Yes, no, and it was just it's big, it's bright, it's cool, it's fun, it's obviously set up for a series, should they get one.
And that's the thing,
and I'm so good with that if it happens.
And that's where we're at. Where we're talking about supporting your creators. But that was kind of the thing I was kind of upset that I didn't get to see it in theaters because I was like, well, damn, I was gonna go get a ticket because
I regret it now.
Like I said, it's one of those things where I said before, if you want to see a sequel to something, if you really enjoyed something, don't bootleg it. Don't get a fucking copy from your friend. Just go pay the fucking $10. See it on a fucking Tuesday when they have the $5 show and go see it. But just give them something.
By the way, if you have the ability, I know not a lot of people do. If you have the ability to, buy the ticket even if you can't go to the movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like even if
that's
an opportunity.
No, I've done that because I told you before. There have been stuff that I had to bootleg for the show that I was just like, fuck it. All right, that's cool. And I just got online and just Fandango, bought a ticket. And I was like, I sent a text message, hey, I bought a ticket at Fandango. You want to go see a movie? Boom, there you go. And it was like, I gave them the money for it. I'm sorry. It's like, I had to steal it, but whatever. It's like, just give them something.
Yes.
And it's like, because otherwise they're not getting paid. And if they don't get paid, you don't get more movies. You don't, like, they don't eat.
Well, and also to that point is, you have no right to complain about a type movie about only big studio movies getting made. Because you're directly encouraging that.
Yeah.
Because a movie, even like Battle Angel, which, by the way, only got made because James Cameron's attached to it.
Yes.
Only reason.
Yeah.
Even that is it's a pretty rare movie for a non-franchise, established franchise.
As much as, like I said, when I knew James Cameron had support behind it, but even then, it was still ambitious. Like, it was one of those things where I was like, a lot can go wrong with this. Like, I was like you. I didn't have expectations because I was like, it's been a lot of bad ones. But
I got bad vibes when I saw that first trailer.
When I saw the trailer, I was like, oh, okay. And I was sold. I was like, oh, okay, I'm good. That's all I needed to see. But, yeah, like, it's, you want to support your music artists and you want to get more albums, don't stream an album. Go buy the fucking thing on iTunes, go buy it off of Amazon, then go stream it because they get more money that way.
That is something that just, it feels like with every second of the day, that means more and more, and I'm more conscious of it.
I'll tell you now, if you have the opportunity, just go to the artist's website because a lot of times they have their album on sale there. Buy it from them because they have it for cheap.
Cut out the third party situation.
Yeah, and a lot of times they give you incentives. Big Crit sells his album. You get a vinyl. Like I think if you pay like the $20 extended, the $20 premium version, you get like a T-shirt that's from the Rap Tour and I think a vinyl. Like, and it's just a digital copy. It's like, yeah, we know you don't want to push the whole fucking CD, but you get extra shit just because you bought the album anyway. Like, I can't remember who else it was. Mr. Motherfucking Esquire.
Okay.
He put out his album. You got the gold variant of his limited release, a T-shirt, and like something else that came along with it, and it was like $30. And I was like, all that's it's $30 fucking for the album on like the physical, vinyl album on its own. It's like, how could you not just go ahead and throw money at it?
It's one. I mean, I feel like in summation, the way that I'm thinking about it more and more, and in my head, because I feel like in my head, I try to like summarize things in aphorisms because that's just how my brain works. It boils down to, for me, support good shit.
Yeah, like, and if you want to support it, look, if you don't want to pay YouTube Premium, just turn off ad block and just let the motherfucker run for the minute. And
absolutely.
Yeah, just for the people you want to support. Like,
but that's what it boils down to. None of this shit matters unless there's money there.
Yeah.
They don't give a fuck.
Yeah. And
this is not. Nobody's curating taste.
And that's the thing. Like, YouTube is just a platform. So if you want these people to like survive and keep making the stuff that you like to see, you need to support them. It's just like with movies, just like with music artists, just like with anybody. But if you want them to eat, you want them to keep doing the things that you like them doing, you gotta give them some money for it.
Yeah. So an example of that for me, and for us really, is that we were very early on Hot Ones.
Yeah.
And that shit's popular now, and they get people, and it's great because Sean Evans, I love him. I think he's very good at what he does, and I'm all about encouraging that show, that platform, and him.
Yeah. So, like I said, we've gotten some hot sauces, and we done plugged them on the show a couple of times. Like I said, it was one of those things, but you just gotta support your people. That's all.
100%. Quick rundown of other things that I saw. I saw Ready or Not in the theater.
So I skimmed through some of that movie. It was not what I thought it was gonna be.
Basically the trailer. It comes down to the trailer is we just want to get you in the theater.
Yeah.
And they showed you all of the quote unquote funny parts. 95% of them were shown in the trailer. It's not. I don't think it's great. Personally, I wasn't a huge fan. I thought it was more disappointing than anything else. It was a nice idea that was undercooked, and it was kind of like lazy storytelling near the end. Yeah. And it was pretty predictable.
I will say that from what I thought it was, because I only watched a little bit of the first initial trailer, and I don't remember it there, but the movie, I mean, it's kind of a spoiler, but not really, but it has a supernatural element in it. Yeah. And I didn't get that from the first trailer. So
no, they tried, but they did mention it in the second one. Like they hint at it for a second.
Okay, see, I didn't watch the second one.
And then it's kind of, it's not heavy-handed, but they do, like they try to like give you breadcrumbs, and then it's like, ideally in a horror movie, it's like later you're like, oh, they did say that, so that's a thing. But even in the moment, I'm like, oh, well, that means that. That's that. Yeah. Because it was just Ben and I in the theater, and so we were actively kind of like talking about it as we go, and there were multiple times where I predicted exactly what would happen. Yeah, and it wasn't even the most predictable, but it's that thing where like, oh, you linger on one part just 1 second too long, because they want to be sure. Let's just make sure you see, like, get this part because here we come. So it was a little bit of that, and Samara Weaving was great in it, and a lot of people confused her with Margot Robbie, which I get because they look a lot. Yeah,
they look alike because I thought it was Margot Robbie too. I was like,
well, and by the way, the producers are like, oh, please get confused there. That's great for us if you think it's Margot Robbie.
Yeah, she's not really that good of a movie.
No, she's playing Bill's daughter in Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure 3.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. Have they built a trailer off of that?
No, but they just finished filming the last 2 weeks.
Oh, okay. All right.
So it's coming along. Soderbergh's produced that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which I kind of love. I love Soderbergh. I also randomly watched Hotel Artemis.
How was that?
It's a nice idea that really wasn't well made. Great cast. Very atmospheric. Like the production design is really cool. I like the idea of it, but it was just like. It was made by a first-time director who was a long-time screenwriter, and it definitely felt like the filmmaking wasn't there.
I'm gonna have to watch that though because it gave me kind of that Smoking Aces feel.
It's not that, but it's worth watching and then kind of like putting on the background, like you're multitasking. Maybe it's not great.
But the only thing is though, I know our taste differs so much. So for
That
me,
is
that
true.
might be the one where I'm like, yeah, I'm all invested into
Oh, that's fair.
compared to
It has a plenty of good moments. There were a couple of performances.
and Batista in that.
Yeah, he's not in a ton, but yeah, he's in it.
Okay, I was like, because I remember it was something where like,
It's a real ensemble of like talented actors for sure.
yeah,
I saw Maul, which I fucking hated.
that's what I heard. Everybody said that it was
It's
terrible.
Oh, it sucks ass.
Yeah.
No.
I went through and I got the script and I read it and I was like, oh, this is not what I was hoping for.
No.
Although
No,
I thought
no,
it was
no.
kind of funny towards the end.
I kept joking about a certain part. I don't want to spoil anything, but it made me laugh so hard, and I kept calling back to it when we were watching it. It was so funny, and I've referenced that movie to a couple of people and mentioned this detail, and they were like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" And I'm like, "Oh no, it's real," and it's so funny. And last, I saw Arctic, which is on Hulu and Amazon streaming. It's Mads Mikkelsen, and it's like he has some kind of accident and he's stranded in the Arctic.
Is that the one where he's like with a bunch of other people and they're getting chased down by like a polar? Okay, no, that's
Polar.
AMC. No, that's
Okay.
on AMC.
Sorry, Arctic though, is just. I know what you're talking about, but Arctic, is just. It opens up with him in the Arctic, and he's stranded, and he's surviving, and he has so much presence. I'm a huge Mads Mikkelsen fan, and it's 90 minutes, but it's very well done. I highly recommend it. I enjoyed the hell out of it.
Well, one movie that I won't be saying, and just out of GP at this point, is motherfucking Quentin Tarantino's last film. And
Not a big foot fan.
yeah, I'm about to go on my quick little rant real quick. I'm tired of motherfucking Quentin Tarantino. Sometimes I just need him to just keep his fucking mouth shut sometimes. Like, when we discussed it on the show, I thought it was actually like a period piece, because I thought like towards the end when the inevitable ending should have occurred, that didn't actually happen. So that's when I hear
Certainly a version of it happened.
Yeah. So then I see the whole thing and they're talking about Bruce Lee and he's like, well, he was cocky, he was this, that, and the other. Now, and you got to understand, Bruce Lee is legit a hero of mine.
Yeah.
Like my dad, Bruce Lee, fucking Martin Luther King. Like, so legit, I got some
Who's
heroes.
the fourth? Who's your Mount Rushmore? Who's the fourth one? Tom Cruise?
There's a few that could be up there.
That's fair enough.
Like my mom was separate on a whole nother list.
Yeah,
so,
that's fair.
But either way, love Bruce Lee.
Mm-hmm.
He was one of the most humble men that you will ever meet in your life, that you will ever read about, that you were ever lucky to know. So when he goes up there and he's like, well, yeah, he was a cocky motherfucker. It's like, well, no, he wasn't. Like, even if you just watched any basic Bruce Lee stuff, you knew he wasn't like that. Like, he was like that in the movies, but those were his movies. He was allowed to do that at that point because they didn't have that for Asian actors. So it's like, all right, you're so in tune with this time frame, but then when you get to this character that you were so into, that you loved, that you called him a character, it's like he wasn't a character. He was a real fucking person. That was a real person on set, not Bruce Lee, the character.
Yeah. He was a device for that movie.
So for me, it's like, and then he was like, well, he wrote it in his, memoir.
There was a book where it mentioned that there was a cockiness to him,
Yeah, but that was the thing. It was like, no, it didn't, because I have that memoir. I've read it 3 times. It's like, no, motherfucker, you got it wrong. It was a white director that made that mention back in the day. It's like, it wasn't Bruce Lee. So for me, it was like, well, what I thought was a period piece, all of a sudden it goes, well, it was just a fictional story. He's just a character. It's like, no, you understand that your movies are supposed to be this transcendent thing that everybody keeps claiming you're a genius. But when it comes to people of color, you seem to kind of make them an afterthought or we're accessories. Outside of, and even then, it's still, we were accessory. But the only one I still care for is Django Unchained. Love Django.
That movie's great.
But I don't like the fact that you lost the humanity in a person of color, but you gave it to Sharon Tate, whatever the fuck her name was. And you made it, like I said, you put this whole lens on, she's this person. But then, like I said, another person of color is just an accessory. And you don't care how they're portrayed, no matter what. And it's just like, I didn't really care about Tarantino. Like, he's a good dude, but, well, for movies. but he's an asshole as a person. And now I'm just like, yeah, you're just an asshole of a person. Like, I'm not gonna see this movie off of GP, but again, it's one of those things where I don't knock nobody that supports it. It's just that from where I standpoint, you gotta support with your dollar.
No, I know what you mean.
And it's like I can't rock with you on this.
To your point about the memoir, right? I feel like the word that writer would want to use instead of arrogant is use the word uppity. You know what I mean? Like in the sense of like this racist perception of arrogance just because he wasn't subservient.
And see, for me, it wouldn't even be that. It would be confident. Because
fair enough.
Because this thing, like, I get called uppity.
I mean that perception.
But
the writer's perception versus the reality.
Yeah.
Yes.
But that's the thing. Like, even then, it would still be. That would be the better way for it. But like, even then, back then, they would use uppity, and it was like that would still be better than what they would call cocky.
Okay.
But it was like, but they're still just going to be essentially the same thing. But it's like, you didn't get it at the time, and that's like like I said, the memoir wasn't written that way. Because actually, like I said, I have it at the house. I can bring it by, drop it off, but like, it's just one of those things where don't act like you fucking know, and you should have just said, you know what, it was a fictional story. I just made something up. That's all you had to say.
Yes.
Instead of just going on and just like, well, I read the fucking memoir. I knew who Bruce Lee was. I'm this, huge guy, and I know all about the 19 whatever. So it's like, no, just keep your fucking mouth shut and say, hey, my bad. I just made a movie, and I just wrote him as, I just wrote this scene because it was a fictional thing. Instead of portraying it like, well, this is how the world really was, but this is how that night should have ended.
Well, a couple things about that. One, to your point, even at the time, it did have a vibe, like when he was explaining that, it did have the vibe of he wrote the thing and then found a thing to justify it.
Yeah.
Versus the other way around. Yeah. Versus it being driven by that. And the reason I think that also is, the second point is, this is a guy, like some actors are like, I can't watch myself. Like they can't, they're so critical they can't do that. He's a guy who actively loves his own movies.
Yeah.
Truly. Mm-hmm. Relishes in them. And that's not a knock. But my point is that would illustrate that he is so in love with his own ideas and his own characters that he just sees Bruce Lee in that moment as a real life character that would be in that moment, to where in theory that scene could happen, right? I mean, they could get into a fight, whatever.
Yeah. But
he of course is going to get the benefit of that, all in the service of informing his own character, regardless of how that comes off for the reality of what it would have been, right? Because like, even interestingly enough, to your point about like Sharon Tate, that movie is considered extremely nostalgic and optimistic because of how it treats her.
Yeah. And I told you before, people of color don't get humanity a lot in movies. Yeah. So it's one of those like, yeah, I see where it went. It's like, you lost me.
And by the way, like, the entire Manson thing was trying to incite race wars. That was never mentioned in that movie.
Yeah. So
like they didn't romanticize the Manson family. I'm not saying that, but they also didn't in any way inform their true motive there.
Yeah, that, and I will just say this right now. I took to offense to that he would ever put in any movie that. I hate to say this, people, but a white dude taking Bruce Lee outside of Chuck Norris, and I'll tell you now, Chuck Norris can't take Bruce Lee.
No.
On his best day, he couldn't. So that right there, I was like, yeah, you got your goddamn mind. Whatever dude's name was, he would have got his ass tore the fuck up in 2 seconds.
It's rusty. But what he was saying was that, in terms of the character, it informs that the character is far more than he seems, that he's unassuming, that he is a soldier, and he's just taught, he said something to the effect of like, he's trained in violence, something like that, which is such a Tarantino type thing to say, especially about his own characters. But it is interesting. It's interesting. And you bringing that up to me when you did at the time did obviously make me see it in a very different light. Just in terms of the real life ripple effect of a movie that has real characters but is completely steeped in nostalgia and fiction.
Yeah. Like I said, it's like the reason why I keep saying fuck Ridley Scott with what's that fucking movie? Egyptian Gods or whatever. Gods of Egypt. Now don't get me wrong, yes, it was a fictional movie. But you cast white people as fucking Egyptians. Like they don't have fucking
And
Egyptians.
Chadwick Boseman. Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
I know.
and it's just like they don't have fucking Egyptians.
Yeah.
And then you legit say I couldn't sell a movie with someone named Muhammad, and I'm just like, my nigga, are you serious? No. And,
Well, what's
like
also funny is the idea though. He's like, I couldn't sell it like that, and I have to make this movie.
exactly, and that's what I said before. The motherfucker, you don't make it. It's like it.
I know.
I'm
That's
not
a whole,
gonna do it because
No, I know.
then
That's
I'm gonna go on a
because
big
then we'll go
racist
for,
rant, and
then we'll
yeah.
go for 15 hours.
Yeah.
But I know what you mean, and also even without the egregious racial implications, fuck Ridley Scott for Prometheus and Alien: Covenant in general.
Yeah.
And I could rant about that shit for hours too.
Yeah, that's never gonna. He can burn. I don't give a fuck about Ridley no more. I'm tired of dude. Just
But hey, the Joker comes out in 2 months.
which I give a fuck less about too.
Yeah, I don't either.
Like literally, the more I see, the more I'm just like, I really don't care. Although I haven't heard any reviews, but the little bit I've heard said that everybody says it's a really good movie. But
Well, there are mixed reviews. The thing is, regardless of the positivity or the negativity of the movie, everybody talks about how it's a dangerous movie because it's going to enable incels. You know, like it's going to play to like it's going to like romanticize their own dumb shit journey of like, you know, being misunderstood and just this way. It's not going to be good in that regard.
Well, that's the thing.
Then again, incels don't need anything to be incited because they're just fucking idiots.
Okay, now see, that's the thing with this though. I hate that whole situation because, like you just said, incels don't need anything to get incited.
No.
So
They need what is considered popularized justification.
yeah, they'll
Like
justify
this.
anything themselves.
Yes, 100%.
But that's the thing though. That movie shouldn't be anything that it wasn't made for that. So the fact that it gets turned and used against it, you know, in that purpose, it's upsetting. Because like that's not what the movie's actually about. That's not it, this isn't for you to use on this platform. It's like, see, this movie gets it. It's like
No, they'll exploit anything they have
yeah,
to justify their fucking bullshit.
yeah.
The Ben Shapiros of the world, these, you know, prepubescent 5-foot midget incel cucks, they'll do whatever the fuck they want.
Yeah, because what was that other one that they pulled from Blumhouse? I think The Hunt.
Oh, that thing.
Yeah,
That was that. By the way, that is a true situation of the media sucking their own dicks, and then that getting canceled. Which that in and of itself was stupid, but also not to they kind of buried this. It also in test screenings got bashed. So I think if anything, they saw the opportunity, but like, oh no, we'll cancel it because then they're saving face because it supposedly is allegedly garbage.
which is fine. But it's like there's other movies that have been released that were way worse. I'm just like, y'all are tripping over this.
See
shit.
also Ma. I just sucked. I just really didn't.
I was about to be made of like Hereditary.
Oh, you dickhead. No. I understand that comedy and horror are the two most divisive genres out there, but fuck off. That movie is. I understand you may not like it, but it deserves to be appreciated on a technical level. It is so well made.
All right, then I'll give you that, Mother.
Mother? Wait, what?
Yeah, I was like, I'll let you have that one then, Mother. That's all.
Hereditary is great. Midsommar is great. Same director.
Yeah, I know. I know.
Movie's
He has
great.
a thing about heads and decapitations or bashings.
You know.
Yeah,
It's possible.
I'm not a fan.
And that's fair. You can be anti-decapitations. I'm not pro. For the record, I am not pro decapitation. But I guess I'm not. I don't know. It's just a good movie, and I'm getting cranky. It's good. It's good. I don't like people bashing that movie.
It's
Fuck
funny
off.
because that's your Green Lantern. And I'm probably over Green Lantern.
You know what the worst part? And the worst part though is I've used Green Lantern so much to get you. You're now desensitized, but this shit's still fresh for me.
I know.
So I gotta get beaten down before I can get built back up, and that's fair.
I got some quick shit. Watched a little bit of I guess what was this U.S. Open Wimbledon that's been going on.
Yeah.
Tennis. Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah. Watched Serena dog walk Maria Sharapova.
Well, that by the way, that was truly a narrative that didn't exist.
Okay.
Because she's fucked her up 19 times in a row now.
Okay, that's what I was about to say. How do you
That
have a
was not a
fucking
thing.
rivalry and you have gotten trounced?
Yeah.
Not once, not twice, not three. Motherfucker, you ain't beat her since, I want to say, was it 2010 was the last time or was it 2005?
And by the way, she was on
2005.
She was on roids at some point in
And
that,
that's
and
what-
still got her ass beat.
And that's what I'm saying
So
is
that doesn't mean
you
anything.
got, and it wasn't like it was some shit where it was like close games where,
No.
no, you got beat. Like I said, she put you on the fucking leash and she was like, come on, bitch, let's go around the block. Every goddamn match.
Look, that wasn't. That, I'll tell you this: the last two people who thought that was a rivalry were Maria Sharapova and Serena Williams.
Oh, no.
That was nothing.
No. Serena Williams never thought it was a rivalry.
Yeah.
That's the reason why she's been dog walking that bitch. And it's also, I hate to say this,
Uh-oh.
but the media in itself,
Yes.
and I hate to say it, but fucking white Americans, which I don't understand why you're rooting for a fucking Russian.
Yeah.
Seriously, Serena has that is the most
Well-
American story
Well,
in sports. There is.
MAGA fans are rooting for the Russian.
Yeah, but even then,
I know,
I'm
no.
saying even before then, in the '90s, they were still rooting for it. I'm like,
Well, I would say, but even then, it was like, here's the thing: there weren't any like minority tennis players really to where there was a rivalry. It was Agassi and Sampras.
yeah.
So, but the point is, though, they're always
But-
looking for that narrative.
But that was the thing, though. It's even when she got in there, she's been beaten once by her. That was it. One time. Every other time, she's gotten more money on endorsements.
Yeah.
She's gotten treated better. They talk about her better, like she really is an equal to Serena, and she is not, and she has never been an equal.
And
She
by
said
the-
some low key racist shit, and
Yeah.
they just
Well,
whatever.
We've also are a long time removed from her being really like consistently competitive. Sharapova.
Again,
It's been a long time.
I'll tell you now. For me, she was never competitive because when it got to Serena, bitch, you lost. Like there was nothing for me because I'd never seen a Maria Sharapova match outside of her going against Serena.
Well, she won majors. I'm just saying. I'm
No,
just saying
no,
that
I'm
there.
saying, no, I'm not saying it's not bad, but everything that really mattered, every real title that I heard about, her name didn't come about. It was one person, the greatest athlete of our time, Serena Williams. So it's like, she might be good. She is a great tennis player. I even looked at it statistically. She is amazing. She could be up there with her, but she ain't Serena.
Oh no! Well,
And that's what I'm saying.
Nobody is.
But that's what I'm saying
Anywhere
is
close.
she can't come nowhere near it. So I don't understand why everybody gives a fuck about her. It's like, bitch, you steady coming up second. Traditionally, every day, like you got to cheat to try to get second. Like for some shit that I didn't know I couldn't take it. Bitch, you're only supposed to take it for 6 months at a time. You kept taking it for years straight. Like,
And
you still lost.
And I forgot about that. It does bring a lot of wins into question. I forgot about how long that was.
Yeah, they just acted like that shit didn't really happen. She got on screen, cried a little bit, and then they didn't let her play for, a year. It was like, all right, whoop de fucking do.
It was very much a slap on the
But
wrist.
Serena got tested how many times? 19 goddamn times. And she still ain't got popped yet, but they keep on testing.
I will say that about the Sharapova thing, in terms of just saying she didn't win majors, I was mainly just pointing out that she wasn't Anna Kournikova, who was purely based on looks, didn't win a tournament.
Oh.
So I'm just saying, in terms of it, I know what you mean, but in terms of levels, there is Serena, there are 30 levels, and then there's Sharapova.
And
I know what you
that's what I
mean.
mean. Like,
Yes.
yeah, I was like, okay, she won majors, but what else? It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah. The idea of like there's a rivalry, it's like, oh, that's cute.
Yeah, it's like,
That's cute.
yeah, it's like, okay, if you want to pretend there ever was one, it's like, but I didn't know a rival meant that I got my ass whooped up and down the court for
Well,
year after year after year after year.
The only people that have to gain anything from that quote unquote rivalry and the perception of it is A, the media, and B, Sharapova. Serena's like, I don't give a fuck.
Oh no, she cares.
Well,
But I said,
okay,
she cares
okay.
because she's tired of this bullshit.
Fair enough.
But I said that's why she keeps whooping her goddamn ass every year. It is hilarious. And then after that, I watched a little bit of the Coco versus Osaka.
The interviews after were beautiful.
Yeah,
I love that.
I
I
actually
got close to tears.
Oh, I did. I
Yeah.
teared up out in the parking lot. I was like, oh,
I loved it. I loved it.
I was like, oh, these
I watched,
children.
I watched that last night. I thought it was beautiful.
I was like, these children are so sweet. I was like, they actually care about each other.
Also, by the way, I mean, her tennis ability, obviously. Coco is like, this is not a flash in the pan.
And isn't she 15?
Yeah, she's also extreme, like, smart, very well spoken, and it's like, oh, she's just beyond her years physically and mentally. Because 15, I had no articulation. Not that I necessarily do now, but I sure as shit didn't then. Talk about, I was an factory.
I mean, you know, in tennis, though, I'm pretty sure they've probably been in front of a microphone just like the pageant people all their life. So
Fair enough.
Like some of those pro football dudes that, you know, like the Mannings, they, you know, as soon as they were in high school, they already got a camera in their face.
That's very fair.
Like, what you gonna do? You know what the fuck I'm gonna do? It's like I'm going to football.
Friggin' giraffe necks.
Yeah, which I was listening to part of The Shop, which I didn't really care that much for, but they had an interesting thing.
PR situation that show is.
Is it really?
Well, I mean, everything about the show is like, they talk about like, they're being candid. Like, they're being candid relative to what you are.
Oh, you're talking about that.
Yeah, and that's what I mean.
Oh, yeah. Nah, yeah, that whole thing was stupid because I watched that one segment where they had like, where it was Drake when he was going through the whole thing with Pusha D. Yeah. And I thought that was so funny because, one, LeBron's supposed to be all about, you know, rap and everything in hip hop. Hey, he's talking about like rules to rap beef. I'm like, motherfucker, it's rap beef. There are no fucking rules. Yeah. And he giving Drake this big ass platform, but then like the lights kind of dim and they get on Drake in the chair and he's like, oh, you talking about my kids? I was just like, dude, are y'all serious like that?
No, yeah, that's the thing where I do like watching it, but I don't take any of it seriously.
But anyway, he was talking about how he kind of regrets naming his son Bronny after him. And I didn't really think about it, but he was saying how it wasn't because, you know, he was like, I don't want him to have my name, but he was like, I didn't think about him growing up and then having this whole legacy of he has to be, I'm giving him a name and not letting him get to be his own person. That everybody's expecting him to live up to some legacy that I have instead of letting him just be the kid that he wants to be and grow up to be the person he wants to be. Like, he's like playing ball now, but what if he didn't actually want to? Like, what if he's just doing this because he's named after me? His dad is, you know, called the greatest of all time now. And he's like, well, damn, I'm after my dad. I want to make him proud. So let me do this because he was proud enough to name his son, you know, give me his name. I need to be proud enough to do this for him.
It's like Michael Jordan naming one of his children Mikey Jordan.
Yeah.
And then you're just like, oh, you definitely would think
like
you'd
most
be
people
more,
in their head,
feel
it's
more
like,
beholden.
Exactly. It's like, oh, he named him after himself. So he's expecting him to follow in his footsteps. And I was like, damn, I never really thought about that. About do any like celebrities and stuff like that regret naming their kids after themselves, and like, because I feel like the world's not going to let them be who they want to be, and they feel like they have to live up to some expectation now instead of just being like, I get to be me. And like, because you know, a name is a lot for a person. Like,
and James is a relatively unassuming name.
Yeah.
But if you are, and in general though, if you're a tall black kid who's named James, there's that opens you up to more possibilities of being, oh, are you LeBron's son? But then now you're named Bronny. And then it's like, oh, well, then, regardless of what you do.
Well, I would say this though, the James part, nah, that's only what white folks at. Because
really?
you know how many James there are in the world. Like,
clearly not.
That's what I'm saying. Like, James is a popular black surname. So
okay, fair enough.
That's what I'm saying. Like, white people might be like, tall black kid. Are you related to LeBron James? Yeah, that's not a good look, Chief.
You know what? Fair enough.
Yeah, whereas,
fair enough.
Like I said, now if somebody's like, his name is Bronny, it was like, oh, is your name short for LeBron? Oh, okay, that's his son. Yeah, but yeah,
no, fair enough. You're not fair enough.
Yeah, don't do that.
I'll own that ignorance.
But yeah, like I said, it's one of those things where you're named after him. It's like I said, if you're named after LeBron James, they're gonna know you from birth, from elementary school until you're in high school, because they're gonna be like, well, he has his name. We already know he has a kid, so we're gonna be following you. It's gonna be like, well, you have to live up to this.
It does help that at this moment, even as a freshman in high school, or I think that I believe freshman or sophomore.
I think he's a sophomore.
Okay, well, even as that, he's
he's
largely considered the only person who could arguably be as good, if not better, than LeBron.
I mean,
he's amazing.
Yeah, but that's one of the things where LeBron's kind of like a freak of nature anyway.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, his kids might have his whole. Well, they got his genes, so it might be passed down.
So the genes are helping a lot.
Yeah. So it's one of those things where it's like, you know, in his head, he's just asking, like, well, damn, I don't know whether he wants to do this or he feels like he has to. And he's like, and I don't like the fact that I put that kind of pressure on him, or at least it feels like it.
Yeah,
I was like,
and
damn,
fair enough.
I never really thought about that. Like, it actually makes me question about naming my kids. Now, I already made my name made up, and I don't give a fuck. He might hate me for all his life, but it'll be whatever.
Well, weirdly appropriate. Like, I'm naming mine.
Being and
Oh, what?
I didn't even press that.
Oh, shit.
Anyway, that was a podcast on a podcast.
See, should stick with a droid. Apple be fucking up. I said it.
I'm good forever. Yeah, I got a fantasy football draft in 40 minutes anyway.
All right. Well, yeah, we've been talking for like an hour and 20. So,
Damn.
yeah.
Gotta get caught up.
Let's see. If you want some music to listen to, Dreamville, Revenge of the Dreamers came out. I want to say it dropped 3 weeks ago. Pretty much everybody that's on J. Cole's label is kind of like one of those Maybach music albums, the MMG collaborations is one of those type of situations. Really good if you're kind of into a little bit more of the J. Cole indie kind of hip hop. There's a lot of Earth Gangs on there. I can't remember Jid. I think Gold Link, a couple other folks, but Bass. But really good album so far. I listened to, and I'm trying to think of what was the other one that came out. Missy, her EP dropped last week. I've only heard the first 2 songs.
I haven't listened to it yet.
Yeah, I think there's only like 5 tracks on it, but it's Missy. I love Missy. She's my favorite female rapper of all time. So I'm probably not going to be disappointed in it, but I'm excited.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. You got anything?
Nah. Not really. I feel like I said every possible word combination I could say today.
All right.
Yeah, I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
That's good enough for me.
Hopefully in a couple of days we'll have a mic, and on next episode,
Follow me on Twitter at Inquisitive Dick.
Fuck. What is mine?
Nardi something. Or that's
Black Market Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. I actually am going to be changing my Twitter handle probably by next episode. So,
really? Okay.
Yeah. So look out for that. But all right, folks.
Thank you.
Bye.